And that is my big and overly complicated reason of why you should let me and my siblings stay here, and how it won't affect your life in any way.
Me fossil fuel have lot to think about. But me fossil fuel would rather crush tall puny Warner!
I'm sorry, what? It's only 6:30. Could I at least have my coffee first?
It looks like somebody finally met fossil fuels.
Rehash, you know that getting all of the cartoon gents to agree on anything is an impossible task. Why'd you set it so high?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want your siblings to be staying rent-free in your house?
Okay, I'll shut up.
And for your viewing pleasure, this is Animaniacs 2020 Season 2. So the episode begins with the Warners at an art museum of all places. I suppose there's some shenanigans that could go on here.
Well, I suppose Animaniacs X modern art, there is possibilities of some jokes there. And I'll give them credit, they do start off pretty strong.
Now that one I get.
Finally, some real art.
At least someone appreciates my exquisite physique.
Well, would you look at that, Quacko? Looks like the gang still got it. Yeah, that's more of a Daffy Duck funny than it is a you funny. But it didn't stop you from singing our praises last episode.
Well, what can only be described as a bunch of cartoon shenanigans. We end up with the Warners meeting this person!
Why is ugly man so ugly?
Actually, Fossil, I think that's a woman.
Well, in this case, it's modern art. She's passing herself off as a living piece, so she doesn't actually have to work hard at her art.
Oh, you're right. I did it because I'm in love with that monkey and I should leave my husband.
Oh, come on, Quacks. What's with the face? That was funny. I don't know, that felt a lot more cringy than funny.
Actually, I'm with Gent on this one. How exactly is a woman breaking up a happy marriage, in any way, shape, or form, humorous?
It's called absurd comedy. You two are just reading too much into it. So I guess the goal of this episode is to get this woman to crack? I don't know. Well, I guess it's something. So the Warners tried their usual shtick. Cartoonish gags, playing around, but this woman has a face of stone and refuses to budge. And the Warners themselves get into a lot of trouble when they physically interact with her because, you know, don't touch the art piece.
Me fossil fuel no see art piece. Me fossil fuel see ugly man.
Again, that's a woman.
That's an art piece.
That is... whatever.
So with no better alternative, they begin asking some ridiculously stupid questions that only a child would ask. And this causes the psyche of the woman to break and eventually remove herself from her art transfixion and start asking those same questions, trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense, before eventually connecting it back to her own art. That this doesn't make sense.
And so the Warners take her to an artistic reference where her and a bunch of other famous artists, who I'm not going to bother Googling because I do not care, as they order pizza together. Apparently this is a common trope that the Warners do.
Together.
You're no artist. You're the bothersome commercial product of a soulless corporate entity.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, Frida Kahlo's husband.
We're something even more annoying.
It's Banksy!
What?
Where's the joke?
What, we're just making a tongue-in-cheek nod to our street artists, you know?
Me fossil fuel confused. What street artist you mean?
He's talking about graffiti.
And while it is impressive what people are able to do with graffiti, I do not, however, condone or approve it, as it's straight up vandalism 90% of the time.
Wow, I didn't think the guys who have the self-proclaimed title, Organizers of Chaos, would be such prudes.
Yes, it's called having standards. Just because I can enjoy the graffiti artwork of what I see doesn't necessarily mean I approve of it. These artists who go around graffitiing things are ultimately vandalizing someone's property because someone's gotta own that building or that wall. And then my taxpayers' money is going to clean that up. I do not approve of anything that spends my money. Wait, you don't pay taxes, and the government doesn't know that.
We then cut to Pinky and Brain's segment of show, where Brain's evil plan to take over world this time is to invade a dictator party and steal their secrets, and take Pinky as his +1.
More political humor. Not this shit again. Oh, come on, now what? More political humor? Are you kidding, Yakko? What? We're just going to make fun of some world leader dictators, nothing fancy. Yakko, I'm still trying to recover from that bun episode you did. Yakko, if you make me sit through any more political humor, I'm gonna have fossil fuels sit on you.
So Pinky and the Brain arrive at the dictator's party disguised as dictators. There is a bit of trouble at their entrance, but they're eventually let in. And it's here, Pinky and the Brain immediately try to search out the world's worst dictators. Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and... oh, that one from Venezuela.
And to all my little brothers and sisters of chaos in Venezuela, as a proud American draconequus, I can happily say, you're welcome.
USA! 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 USA!
Wait, what about your thing about politics? Yeah, but this song is fire! So Brain introduces himself to all of the not-so-popular world leaders, and they're unimpressed. But the real objective was for Brain to slip in a listening device. And so he plugs in and listening in. But what he listens in on is all of them railing on him for bringing up politics at a party. Brain was about to give him a piece of his mind, but he overhears that Putin is setting up this whole party thing as a secret contest of who could bring the most pathetic, crazy imbecile to the party. And the winner of this contest is getting a free nuclear submarine. This is an opportunity that Brain absolutely cannot pass up on. Plus, he already has the winning hand. This is an easy clap for Brain.
So the dinner with Putin and the other dictators commences, and each one of them brings their own little fool to try to win the submarine. And then Brain shows up and tries to instigate the Pinky. But, shockingly, Pinky is on his best behavior, not playing the part of the fool.
Brain told him to be on his best behavior earlier, so he's following the plan.
It's an older style joke, but it checks out.
Regardless, with the chances of a nuclear sub now slipping from his grasp, Brain tries to say all of the crazy, loony shit that Pinky has done over the years. But then Pinky starts rambling about all the crazy crap that Brain has done over the years. And it is quite a long list of failures for taking over the world. This amuses the other world leaders, and even starts poking fun, and all of them having a good laugh about it. Brain obviously getting more and more antagonized, and Putin finally puts the nail in the coffin, saying that Brain is obviously the biggest fool he has ever seen, and he wins the nuclear sub.
But him Brain don't like his ego being hurt. So him Brain start making fun of all the world leaders and how they have failed to take over the world despite all their power and resources. Exposing what this party really is, and then starts massive food fight. Putin, now angry his party is ruined, sends Secret Service to attack Pinky and Brain.
Our two boys manage to just narrowly escape by jumping into the nuclear sub that they won. And Pinky immediately blows it up. Because, you know, we're not allowed to give Brain a win this series. And so, Brain and Pinky prepare for tomorrow night. For they shall, and eventually,
take over the world!
And you see, I think I see some enjoyment from that face. It was mildly entertaining, but far from the best of Pinky and the Brain.
Me fossil fuel love food fight and explosions, but wonder why all the people are so ugly.
We finally head to the final segment of the episode, which is pretty much them roasting the hell out of Netflix. Well, streaming services in general, but clearly Netflix is the target.
Now, there is a lot of angles that they could have tracked down here with this meta joke, but they decide to go down the Rick and Morty rabbit hole route. You know, in the multiversal TV skits where it feels like they just threw darts at a dartboard to see what ideas that they could just throw together.
The ideas that they do come up with aren't bad. Hell, I'd probably even watch a few of these. But if they were going to make fun of Netflix specifically, Cuties was right there.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're targeting every other show, except for the ones that people actually want to talk about, for the right or wrong reasons.
And then they top it off with a meta joke that complains about them being too meta.
And they're ugly!
Okay, he might be hung up on that detail, but he does have a point. Why is everybody so ugly in this new series? It's just cartoonish exaggerated proportions. Even when you take that into account, the people still need to at least look human.
They all look like things that live in cave and eat sewer rat.
Oh, come on, why are you so hung up on this small little detail? Because it was never an issue in the old show. Why is it an issue now? Oh, Quacko, you sound just like all of those fat, whiny man-children who cry about things changing on the internet. Yakko, I wouldn't go underestimating the internet.
Me fossil fuels say he can stay, so fossil fuel have more chance to crush tall puny Warner.
Yeah, I figured that would be your vote. So, about the episode. Was it good? Was it bad? It was mid. There's no other way to describe it. It was mid. This isn't exactly the second coming of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but it's also not as bad of writing as She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. It's mid. It's not particularly funny, but there's nothing particularly offensive aside from all the political shit they've been doing.
And how ugly everyone is!
Right. And how ugly the animation actually is. Fluidity doesn't equal visually appealing when you have characters that look like this.
They do like to make comments about how meta the show has become, and try to make fun of that, but I don't think anyone is actually arguing over it being meta. It's the Animaniacs. They live in the studio that makes their cartoons. It's going to be all meta all the time. The issue is the jokes are too tame. The jokes don't push any boundaries. They're so vanilla. They're not going to entertain anyone.
Me fossil fuel want to see bad people get hit with hammers and explode. Why me fossil fuel not see that?
You know, you also have a point there. Where's all of the slapstick? This is an Animaniacs cartoon. Half of it is funny through dialogue, and the other half is funny through slapstick. If there's any cartoon characters that you can break the rules of reality for, it's these guys. Where's the slapstick humor? Sadly, it appears that last episode was just a fluke, as we're back to just middle-of-the-road, vanilla cartoons.
So until next time, we've been the Cartoon Gentlemen. I'm Rehash.
I'm Gent.
I am fossil fuel.
And this has been a Gentleman's Chat.
And we will see you all next time.